G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildcard. Thank you for watching the Wildcard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, it is Anzac weekend. And yes, we are going to talk about Brumbies versus the Hurricanes. But before we talk about that, I would just like to point out, why isn't the Waratahs playing this weekend? It is literally like the biggest, most populated market for the entire Super Rugby. And Anzac weekend is such a profitable trans-Tasman, rivalry event. The other codes, right? Rugby League and AFL, it's like printing money, right? This weekend with these massive Anzac Day events, and yet Rugby Australia and New Zealand Rugby have decided to leave out one of the biggest teams in Super Rugby to participate in a game this weekend. So yeah, and just like still, like, just think about it, right? The Crusaders play the Highlanders, and if the Melbourne Rebels wasn't, still in the competition, then the Waratahs will be playing the Rebels. How did you come up with this? This decision? Like, how did you plan for this? If the Rebels were here, they should be playing against the New Zealand team as well, right? To keep the whole weekend Anzac rivalry right, like, theme, right? And somehow we ended up with Crusaders playing Highlanders and the Waratahs have a weekend off, right? What a great time to have a weekend off. The busiest and most, it'll be like, could you imagine? It'll be like, it'll be like the department stores taking Boxing Day off, right? Like, that's how bad of a business decision this was for Rugby Australia and New Zealand Rugby. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's my little rant for today. But hey, let's move on. Let's talk about this game at hand. Brumbies versus Hurricanes. I would like to say this was a really, really close contest. I actually thought the Brumbies was going to win this one, to be honest. The Hurricanes didn't look that, impressive last week against the Western Force. And this week, the Hurricanes came in and looked much more crispier, much more tighter, despite against potentially, and I don't want to disrespect the Western Force, potentially a much more stacked Wallabies team tonight from the Brumbies. And yeah, it just looked tighter, more crispier. Both teams came into the game with a pretty similar style. Lots of forward generating strong carries, generating forward momentum, and then the ball kind of goes out to some sort of, backdoor play or some sort of screen running, and then over the top, to the winger, in for the try sort of thing. And then if that doesn't work, you get back with the forwards pounding forward. Eventually, maybe the forwards will score. Both team has scored exactly same tries throughout the game. So very similar style, but ultimately, I think that the Hurricanes just executed everything a little bit more clinically, more cleanly. Ruben Love was really excellent tonight. I think much better than he did last week. Still, I thought he started off really well, like with goal kicking, and then just like missed a bunch. And I was like, oh, there it is. But still, I thought definitely Ruben Love did a great job tonight as a playmaker. And and Roy Gard as well lifted intensity when it was needed. And I thought Naholo was just absolutely pounding through the Brumbies. Was literally the game breaker when the two teams were really close, just breaking through the Brumbies defense by himself with just sheer power and will, and getting themselves through for the tries, which was really, really impressive. And that was, I think that was a big difference maker for the Hurricanes to really stay ahead of the Brumbies. And overall, I thought the breakdown was pretty high. Like, both teams were pretty good at, like, committed a lot to the breakdowns, but I think that the Hurricanes were a little bit cleaner at the breakdowns. The more both teams did well to defend the more. Neither team was able to actually, I think neither team scored a more try. Maybe there was one broken off following the more, but not actually boarding over for a try. Lineouts, there were so many lineouts for the Hurricanes. I think they've probably done the whole like playbook 3 times tonight. It was just like it was like what 220 something lineouts tonight for the Hurricanes. It was insane. And then just the Brumbies, I thought, just overall, maybe just not quite as tidy as well in terms of tackling. Was missing a few tackles for the Brumbies, maybe going a bit too high. Andy Muirhead was really good on the wing. Lots of energy, lots of speed, looking quite good. And then, I just think that maybe the Brumbies, I think just not that, I don't know, just maybe not that clinical. It was a little bit rainy for a little while. I think both teams kind of pull back a little bit in terms of their aggressiveness in the game towards the game and try to take some penalty goals during that period. But yeah, in the end, I'm pretty highly contested. There was a yellow card as well to Lima, the Brumbies number 8 in the second half, and that's pretty much where the Hurricanes really opened up the gap a little bit during that yellow card period. It was a little bit of a high tackle, but it is what it is. I think that, again, just not quite as clinical as it needs to be when you're up against a tough Kiwi opponent. I think ultimately it's a little mistakes compounded over long periods that really cost the Brumbies in this match. Let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 4 tries to 5, 306 run meters for the Brumbies. So the Hurricanes 560. It was quite relentless for the Hurricanes. 153 carries for the Brumbies, 106. 40 defenders beaten for the Hurricanes, 19 for the Brumbies. Like, I reckon like 10 of those were just from Kinian alone by himself. 16 turnovers against the Brumbies though, so the turnover count for the work for the Brumbies were really well done. Again, this is where Stephen Larkin will be screaming at his players in the team review next week. 40 missed tackles out of 187. That is not good. Yeah, that's one of the highest we've seen this season. 122 for the overall tackles made for the Hurricanes. 19 missed tackles. Yeah, so I think it is. You know, technically, I think the completion rate is a little better for the Brumbies. Looks like, but the raw missed tackle amount is just, not quite there. 24 kicks in play for the Brumbies, 19 for the Hurricanes. Like you saw in the run meters, Hurricanes were more happy to run the ball. 3 missed goals for Ruben Love, 1 miss from Lolosio. Still, the missed goals didn't end up costing the Hurricanes. I mean, Ruben Love hit the goalpost last week, came out, probably really wanted to redeem himself, looking like. 665 kick meters for the Brumbies, 508 for the Hurricanes. Lineouts, 7 lineouts for the Brumbies, 22 for the Hurricanes. 3 lost. I mean, like I said, they're probably going through their playbook 3 times tonight for the Hurricanes. 7 scrums overall for the Brumbies and 3 for the Hurricanes. The scrums were, the referee was really quick to just blow those short arms. I really didn't like that. There was so many, the referee was not it was not having any sort of early engagements, any sort of niggles. I just pretty much just called the short arm immediately a lot of times for the scrum. So overall, I do think that the Brumbies was working the angle a little bit on the loose hair side, but overall, the battle was maybe a little bit favoring Brumbies, but wasn't really that big of a clear advantage to either teams, in my opinion. 10 penalties conceded for the Brumbies. Again, little things that end up costing the team. 1 yellow card, I think that was probably the glaring one, and then 5 penalties conceded for the Hurricanes, and that's turned out to be the little things that compounded into the win for the Hurricanes, 29 points to 35. So let's have a quick recap of the game. So, yes, the Brumbies actually got the score kicked off with the scoring 8 minutes in. Just lots of lots of pressure from the Brumbies forwards. Big hard carries, got really close to try line, and eventually Alan Alatoa picked and go, went over for the try. 7 points to nil for the Brumbies. Pretty much immediately, the Hurricanes came out with a return with a penalty. They won for the they went for the line out. They were pressured on, and then eventually the ball came out, a long ball over the top to Billy Proctor, right out on the wing, goes in for the try. 7 points to 5 for the Brumbies, leading by 2. 40 minutes into the game, right from the kickoff, immediately a penalty was given away for blocking by Brad Shield. I thought this was a bit tough. He looked like he was like, my ball. And then he just didn't catch it, and then one of the defenders ran into him. So it looked like he faked the call, but still, I thought it was a bit tough. It hardly was. Yeah, anyway, Brumbies taking 3 points. I was like, ugh. It was mentioned at this point, it was starting to rain, so I was like, okay, fair enough. You did score already beforehand, so it's not like you're just taking penalties without scoring any points. 10 points to 5, I was okay with that. 21 minutes in the game, the Hurricanes again working their set pieces, lots of forward momentum, drawing the defenders in, and then kind of spurting the ball out wide. Looked like potentially a forward pass. Nice little cut pass wide to Punivai, who ran in for the try. Referee thought it was okay. 10 points to 12. 30 minutes into the game. Again, the Hurricanes had a penalty at the halfway point, almost immediately after they scored, and they decided to take 3 from 50 meters out. And they did get this one, 10 points to 15. Again, maybe the rain had something to do with their decision, and they decided to kick this one. 34 minutes into the game, the Brumbies starting putting on pressure. Lots of nice, good hands and tight play between the forwards, and eventually Luke Reimer maws himself over for the try, 15 points to 15. 36 minutes of the game, the what is it called? The Hurricanes get themselves in the front foot. Some really nice fast hands. Karefi was, yeah. So what happened here? Oh yeah, so there was some really nice, good. Yeah, so this was the Ruben Love actually did a little grabber kick here, and he bounced on the ground for the fullback to pick up the ball for the Hurricanes, and then some really quick hand to Naholo, ran down for the try. 20 points to 15 going into halftime. Second half starts 46 minutes in. There was a penalty to the Hurricanes. They tried to kick this one. They got this on the board. No, actually, I think did they get this one? Did they miss this one? Anyway, they try to kick a penalty here. Yeah, they did get this one. And then 46 minutes into the game, the Brumbies get themselves in front foot. Let Ikitau playing like a forward, pick and go for the try. Brumbies taking the score lead back, 23 points to 22. Sorry, 22 points to 23. 48 minutes into the game. Did I miss something? Did I miss a try here? 48. No, this is it. 48 minutes into the game. Again, Naholo playing like a forward, getting involved in the scrum. Looked like he was cleaning out, and then he just scooped up the ball and ran through a gap, and he just bumped over a bunch of players, defenders as well. Just pure power, went through under the post. 22 points to 30. Hurricanes lead. 57 minutes. The yellow card to Tualima, and it hardly looked like it actually hit the head. Maybe a bit of whiplash on after hitting the shoulder from Ruben Love. Actually, not really. Yeah, didn't really look like a direct hit, but it was a yellow card regardless. And after this, 61 minutes, there was a scrum for the Hurricanes right inside the Brumbies 22. A really fast ball came out for Ruben Love. He ran up to the 10 channel and then just quick delivery out wide. Good hands all the way out to the win. Naholo gets another try here. Punivai gets another try here. 22 points to 35. 71 minutes into the game, the Brumbies gets himself another nice bit of forward momentum. The crowd was chanting for the Brumbies, and then with the crowd energy behind them, again, this was a nice little backdoor play over the top, wide to Muirhead. I think this might have been Tom Wright, over the top pass to Muirhead, who went in for the try. 29 points to 35 with about 9 minutes left. You think that maybe the Brumbies can still win this, but no, the team, the Hurricane play really smart in the last 10 minutes with a lot of long kicking, pinning the Brumbies inside their own 22, and then the Brumbies tried to run the ball all the way out from their own half, couldn't quite do it in the end, and that was the final score. 29 points to 35. Brumbies definitely had an opportunity at the end there to try to get themselves out, but couldn't quite. I think the Hurricanes managed to get really smartly towards the end there to grind down the clock the last 10 minutes or so. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about this game. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do you think Waratahs should have got a game this weekend? I think so. Especially when considering if the Melbourne Rebels was here, there would have been Waratahs versus Rebels, which is quite stupid to begin with. But let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next week. Cheers.